Okay.
We're ready to begin.
I need to start. All right, here we've begun. And thank you all for your patience. We're now on the first page of their agenda, call to order, and we'll determine quorum.
Yes, Mr. President. Director Gloria Gray,
Here.
Director Tommy Favai. Here. Director Desi Alvarez. Here. Director Scott Houston. President Don Deere.
Here,
We have a quorum.
the pledge of allegiance with everyone who are able to do so, please stand. We'll have the pledge. Ready, begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Any public comments?
Yes, Mr. President. This meeting is being held both in person and virtually. We have been notified that we do have a member of the public joining us virtually. And so Mr. John Monson, if you would go ahead and begin. You have 3 minutes. John, you're muted. And we'll hold your time so we can.
Did that do it?
Yes, it did.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Always great to be at a meeting of West Basin, even if it is virtually. My name is John Munson, representing the Sierra Club. I want to provide you with a brief update on Cadiz Inc. and its water mining project that has had a series of rejections and growing opposition over the last 2 years. Cadiz once had a grand vision of supplying water to Southern California, and that vision has shrunken to a 60-mile-long corridor from Barstow to Hesperia and a handful of other areas. Last month, Zacks Investment Research downgraded Cadiz stock to a strong sell. That's the worst possible rating, giving the company of a value, growth, and momentum scores of F, and D respectively. Cadiz faces a heightened risk of bankruptcy, they say. The rejection streak includes November of last year when the Arizona Water Infrastructure Agency rejected a Cadiz water export proposal, questioning the project's readiness. Before that, in December 2024, the California State Lands Commission voted unanimously 3-0 to reject Cadiz's pipeline lease. Cadiz Chair Malia Cohen was direct. Quote, "We have no assurance the project will ever come to fruition. I'm not willing to gamble with the taxpayers' money." Close quote. Chemehuevi Indian Tribe and Fort Mojave Indian Tribe published a scathing editorial about 6 weeks ago about the project, saying it would cause, quote, "irreparable harm to our people and our way of life and our traditions." Cadiz cannot legally operate. It has not yet passed the SB 307 test. The law was passed, as you know, in 2019. It prohibits water extraction from desert aquifers unless the agency finds that it will not harm cultural resources. The trouble extends to a supposed lifeline. Cadiz has recently boasted that it has been invited to apply for a $200 million WIFIA low-interest loan. That's within the EPA, as you know, without a lease, without meeting Water Code 1815 compliance, and with a stalled NEPA review nationally. It can't receive the money since all three are requirements. You have been wise to keep your distance from this toxic project. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
For your input.
And Mr. President, if I could just real quick, again, this meeting is being held both in person. Are there any additional members of the public that would like to speak in public comment? Please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. Janessa.
All right, we'll go on to item 5 of the agenda, which is presentations. Do you have one there for us?
Yes, President Deere, we do have a presentation and I'd be happy to read. It's a West Basin Municipal Water District Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month, May of 2026. Whereas Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month was officially memorialized in 1992 when Congress passed legislation designating its annual observance to the month of May, honoring and celebrating all Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders whose variety of contributions have helped build our culture and society. And whereas Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month acknowledges the 26.8 million Asians and 1.8 million Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders living in the United States, celebrating the diverse array of cultures that trace their origins to over 30 countries across East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and the Pacific Islands of Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. And whereas Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month observes this year's theme of power and unity, strengthening communities together, emphasizing the importance of leveraging our collective power, telling our stories, and building bridges to foster resilience, solidarity, and connection with our communities. And whereas this year's theme features the imagery, the bridge to represent the many values that are prevalent in AANHPI communities: innovation, resilience, hard work, connection, and a sense of belonging, inspiring us to work collaboratively and build on our legacies of future generations. And whereas the city of Carson has the largest Samoan community in the United States and hosts the annual Samoan Heritage Festival in June, inviting the community to experience Samoan culture through tradition, performances, food, and music, and providing a space to celebrate and educate people about Pa'a Samoa, the Samoan way. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed for the month of May 2026 that we, the directors of West Basin Municipal Water District, hereby recognize Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month as an annual celebration of Asian and Pacific Islander Americans and their significant contributions to American culture and society.
Thank you. Are there any comments?
Chair,
Mike?
Chair Deere, I just have a couple comments. Thank you, EJ, for recognizing AANHPI month and recognizing, our heritage is one of the key things that keeps our community strong and healthy. And look forward to the award being awarded at our Samoan Heritage Festival coming up in June. Unfortunately, Jani and her group couldn't make it today, but I just text them and told them if they'll be okay for giving them the proclamation on the day of June 27th. So thank you, West Basin. And thank you to all of the staff and all of our employees that's here in West Basin for recognizing. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice comment. Any other comments? Okay, we certainly,
Mr. Chair, just.
well, first of all, I'm going to call on Director Gray. Go ahead.
Did he hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead, Director Gray.
I just wanted to just add to that comment that it's always great to recognize the diversity and culture in all our communities. And so I'm very pleased with what Basin is recognizing Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So I just want to make that comment. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very much. I agree with your comments. Very good. No others, we'll go on to the next item on the agenda, which is items too late to be agendized. Do we have any?
Has no items too late to be agendized.
Okay, we'll go to 7 consent calendar, 7A.
What? Oh,
Consent calendar.
You want to,
Is there a motion to approve the entire consent calendar?
Oh, Chair, Director Grudy has a question.
no,
Director Gray?
yeah, I see the consent calendar is fine, and I just have some issues, some items from the, action calendar, but thank you. Consent item is fine.
Back to the consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve it?
Motion.
Second,
Made and seconded to approve the consent calendar in its entirety. Please call the roll.
Director Gloria Gray,
aye.
Director Tommy Fabai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez, Director Scott Houston, President Don Deere.
Yes, and the consent calendar is approved in its entirety. Moving right along, on to items 8.
Yes, Mr. President. Item 8A is to award a contract for investment management services. This item was presented to the Finance and Administrative Committee earlier this month and moved to the board without a recommendation. For this presentation, we have Wendy O'Kelly, our Chief Financial Officer, and this item begins on packet page 92.
BJ. President and Board of Directors, the item before you is for the contract award for investment management services, and I just wanted to go over the details of the solicitation or the RFP that was put out. We had a total of 7 bidders for the investment management services. 7 firms bid, 6 were responsive, and there was 1 that was non-responsive due to not submitting references. Also in this contract award or contract RFP, excuse me, there were no qualified bidders for the SBE and LBE. So there was no certifications for the Small Business Enterprise Program or the Local Business Enterprise Program. From there, staff did evaluate on 100 system of the quality of the proposals that were submitted, the qualifications and experience for each firm, and then also key personnel, technical approach, their methodology, as well as their cost proposals, and then the references that were submitted. From that evaluation, or phase 1, we did move into a phase 2 where 5 firms advanced to the interview phase. And from that phase, 2 firms did come out at the top, one being Chandler Asset Management, who is our current investment firm, and then also Meter Public Fund scored slightly below Chandler. So we did a 3rd phase where we just asked through an email process, both firms, because there was such a tight scoring. We did ask 3 questions, and basically these were more practical application type questions, just to see the good fit between us and West Basin. And again, the score that came out for Chandler was 99.34 and Meter was 99.09. The recommendation that was made at committee was to have authorized the general manager to discuss the pricing proposal with Chandler Asset Management. Basically, because the 2 firms from the evaluators on this RFP, we found that the evaluation of the 2 firms were fairly equal. There wasn't a lot of difference between the 2 firms and what they would be offering West Basin. The big difference was the price, the basis points that they were offering. Since then, we did receive a letter from Chandler Asset Management. They did want to extend for the first year a 10% off of the overall invoice for that year. So there would be a 10%. They're not changing their basis points. They're just offering a 10% discount on the first year. This is a 5-year contract term. And one of the questions that did come out at committee was the transfer process. If we were to go with a different firm than we currently have, what would that transfer look like? And we were notified that would be a 30-day process. And then other than that, it would be a 5-year contract with either firm. So I would read the recommendation that we presented to the committee. And then the recommendation as stands is that the board authorizes the general manager to negotiate an 8 basis point fee with Chandler Asset Management for investment management services. If an agreement cannot be reached, staff further recommends approval of a professional services agreement with Meter Public Funds Incorporated for investment management services at a fee of 8 basis points. And with that, I hand it back over to the board or any questions?
Have any questions from board members? Okay, is there a motion?
Second.
Busy makes the motion. And Tommy seconds it. Any further discussion? Corey, now what is the motion?
Motion is the staff recommendation, as I heard, the board to authorize the general manager to negotiate an 8 basis point fee with Chandler Asset Management for investment management services. If an agreement cannot be reached, staff further recommend approval of a professional services agreement with Meter Public Funds Incorporated for investment management services at a fee of 8 basis points.
Okay, is that our motion? I'll read on that. Any other discussion? Okay, please call a roll.
Director Gloria Gray,
Aye.
Director Tommy Pavai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
Yes.
President Don Deere.
Yes, and the motion passes. Action counter item B.
Chair,
Go ahead, Director Gray.
you have a statement. While I do not have a disqualifying conflict of interest, I will abstain from discussion and voting on this item out of an abundance of caution, and I will be leaving the dais during any consideration. So I will be leaving from 8B.
Okay. Any other motion on this item? Someone?
President Deere, this item was presented at the May Finance and Administrative Committee. The item was moved forward to the board with no recommendation. It's important to note that we do have a missing director. However, our Chief Financial Officer is available here for the presentation, and we're happy to proceed as directed by the board of directors.
Okay, well. Is there a motion from any board member? Proceed on this? You don't want to proceed on?
I'd like to make a motion,
Go ahead,
Chair.
go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the recommendation in front of us. And then, if we can have, Wendy, give a presentation.
Is there a second to that? I'll second it then. Any further discussion on the matter?
I'd happy to introduce Wendy O'Kelly, our Chief Financial Officer. This item begins on packet page 445.
Thank you, EJ. If we could go to the next slide. This presentation was submitted at or presented at the F&A committee on May 19th, as EJ mentioned. So I'll just give a couple of go through the beginning slides and get deeper into the numbers in the subsequent slides. For the workshop schedule, we are here today at the board with a consideration of the adoption of the 26-27 operating and CIP budget, and then also the rates and charges. For today's agenda, I will be going through the proposed expenditures, capital improvement projects, covering the debt payment schedule, proposed revenues, RSC charges, and then also giving you a summary at the end of basically culminating all the expenditures and revenues together and then giving you those funding options for CIP. The next slide is our fiscal year 25-26 budget cycle off to the left and what we adopted. The next 3 columns are the 3 workshops that we came to the board at special budget workshop meetings. And then where we stand as far as in the last column for the final proposal for 26-27. And overall, if you could see in the revenue, in the expenditure column in that last yellow marked column for 26-27, the expenses that we are proposing, and these are just operating expenses, are $70.3 million. There's 2 things I'd like to highlight in board services since the last time that we had a workshop to also, board services, has come down by 75,000. So there was some reduction in expenses there. And then also under finance and contracts, you'll see $100,000 difference as well. And that is that fee for the commercial paper. We do feel that this year there isn't a need, and we are comfortable discontinuing the commercial paper program and looking at other finance options if the need arises. So there's a savings of 100,000 there. In the next slide,
What page are we on?
sorry.
What agenda page are we on?
Packet page 452.
On 452 is the debt obligation and standby revenue. And here, just a few points to point out is there is no debt that is new debt that is being proposed for the fiscal year 26-27 budget. So all the capital spending is being financed through either our PAYGO, our revenues, or also our reserves. And in the later slides, I will show you that detail in a few slides from there. The other thing I want to note on this one is that standby revenue that we receive. We have talked about it as it sunsets on June 30th, 2030. So in that last column, you could see the total debt service, second to last column, and then the standby revenue. And then in the next year, you could see also the drop in the debt service. And the standby revenue does go away. There is a total net difference in revenue drop of $4.2 million. When you take those two things into consideration, the expenses and then the revenue. And then in the next slide or next page would be the proposed capital improvement projects for the coming year. There's 34 projects that are being proposed, totaling $20.6 million. Out of that, there's 20 projects that are ongoing and committed, and the full value of that is $18.285 million. And I would like to note, as I mentioned earlier in F&A as well, that you are seeing in this proposal and even the previous year, a leaner, more targeted CIP projects, which were discussed at workshop 3. And on the next page, this is where you'll see all the expenses together. So the top row is our operating expenses, which I mentioned earlier, of 70 million. The debt service payment that's due for 26-27, and then that capital improvement program of 20.59 million. Total expenditures proposed today is $112.5 million in expenses. And we do feel like this budget that is being presented today is what helps keep the district in good standing and functioning operationally for this next coming year. And then the next slide does go over the total proposed revenues, which also includes the reliability service charge that is being proposed at 3% increase. And so in those, the top, the second, third, and fourth rows for reliability service charge and the fixed charge for high and water policy, you'll see some changes from workshop 3 to the F&A committee. One is the 3% for the RSC, so you'll see that increase there. The drop for PI and then the policy does tick up a little bit is when the increases, the expenses came out of the commercial paper and then the removal from the 75,000 from board services, that gets reallocated back into these departments. So you'll see an adjustment there as well, revenue. So if the expenses go down, the expenses get passed on to fixed charges to our retailers. So that's a reduction in revenue overall. So what we are proposing for fiscal year 26-27, about $110 million for And then the next slide is our reliability service charge with the imported water rates. So you can see the overall picture. And so we have the commodity rate, the RST rate, giving us the total metropolitan pass-through. And then on top of that, in the first section, I'd like to say is the July 1st through the December 31st at one rate because Met adopts their budget on a calendar year, West Basin on a fiscal year. So that rate from July to the end of 2026 would be a total impact of 2,099 per acre feet of water. And then for January, there is a decline, and that is intentional because Metropolitan has reallocated some of their rates, 30% of their rates from volumetric into fixed. So the volumetric rate does go down, but then retailers will see that on the other side on the fixed charges. So from our perspective, it's $2,001 with the RSC charge. And then in the next slide is our proposed irrigation rates, which for all three budget workshops, including what we present to you today, that has, we're proposing remains the same as the current rates that we have for 25-26. So there's no change, no proposed increase for irrigation rates. And then finally, we get into what this all means and how we, with the expenses and the revenues that are being proposed, ultimately how we pay everything, what we are utilizing to pay CIP. And so you can see the total revenues that I just went through, the expenditures, the debt service payment. I'm sorry, the next slide, please. You have a net revenue of 17.9, or let's say $18 million. That revenue does hit the capital improvement program. And then even with that, proposing on the 3% RSC, we would have a planned drawdown from our reserve of $2.6 million. There's a couple things that you can see off to the right of the chart that I want to just highlight. With the 3% RSC that's we are proposing, again, there is no new debt for CIP. We are able to cover that $20 million, and just keep in mind 18 million of that is already committed. And then also there's a debt ratio coverage of 1.83%. This is something that's not only just important to our board of directors, but also to our lenders and for our credit standing. And then again, the plan to drop from our cash reserves, it does reduce cash reserves, but again, it's more of a planned strategic process versus unplanned. And that's, again, a modest $2.6 million from cash reserve. And with that, if there's any questions from the board of directors, I'm happy to take any questions.
And when you real quick, I did want to correct a misstatement that I made. This, as I mentioned, was heard by the Finance and Administrative Committee, though it was moved forward to the full board with a recommendation to adopt the staff's recommendation that is here before you in item 8B. Also, it's important to note that we were able to inform the Finance and Administrative Committee that we did hold our customer workshop where we did review the budget with them. I'm very pleased to report back that the information that we received, the feedback that we received was very positive. We did have the opportunity to meet with a couple of the retailers individually because they were not able to attend the budget workshop. And again, the information that we received back was very favorable. The item that is here before you, I want to point out because in fact, the chairman of the Finance Administrative Committee was not able to be present today. I did want to make the note that staff and the board of directors have been working throughout this budget process to provide an opportunity to adopt a budget with 30 days notice for the customer agencies as well as our recycled water customers. It's important to note that that is not a requirement, and that is not necessary, and we've always maintained that in our conversation with our retailers and our recycled water customers. The contractual customers, we could provide them with that 30 days notice and postpone any rate increases. But if a budget's not able to be passed or adopted today, we do have a full month in order to get this action done. So I wanted to leave you with that. So there is a motion and a second, unless there are any additional questions.
We made the motion already?
There was.
We haven't. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll call the roll.
Director Gloria Gray noted that she was abstaining. Is that okay with legal counsel? Director Tommy Fabai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
No, for all the reasons that I stated at the workshops.
and President Don Deere.
Yes.
The item fails to pass.
Okay, so that will be held over to the next board meeting, special board meeting. Yeah.
Yes, staff would recommend a special board meeting in order to provide us opportunity for, if needed, to take another action at the board meeting. So in an attempt to do that before.
Thank you. All right, we'll go on to item D.
And it's important to note that item 8C, I assume, staff would recommend that we defer that item, which was an adoption of resolution 05261235 related to our lake.
There's no objection, it's hereby deferred.
Item 8D is to approve sponsorship of fiscal year 2026-2027 community outreach events. I do want to make note that Director Gloria Gray will be rejoining us. So we want to make sure that we give her time to make it there. But we do have Kaya Yoshida, our administrative assistant, for the presentation. And this item does begin on packet page 473.
Would you for item C?
Item C failed, or excuse me, item B failed and item C was deferred.
Thank you.
Or on D now, 8D. Academy.
Yes, good afternoon, President Deere, members of the board. This presentation starts on packet page 473. I do have two items for your consideration today. The first one is Hope Academy is hosting its Swing and Sway Golf Tournament in celebration of Black music on Monday, 2026. Dr. Gray requests consideration to sponsor the Swing and Sway Golf Tournament for $1,000, which would grant West Basin designation as a putting contest sponsor, which includes logo placement on social media and signage at the putting green. And West Basin would also receive a speaking opportunity and booth at the event. West Basin has not previously sponsored this event. However, in December of fiscal year 25-26, West Basin sponsored Hope Academy's Swingin', Singin', and Givin' Winterfest event for $1,500 and received a booth. Documents for this request are included in attachment A, beginning on packet page 476. The second item is the 10th Council District Women's Steering Committee is hosting their 48th Annual Scholarship Awards Luncheon on Saturday, July 11th, 2026. Dr. Gray recommends consideration to sponsor the 48th Annual Scholarship Awards Luncheon for $2,000, which would grant West Basin a speaking opportunity and booth at the event, as well as an advertisement in their souvenir journal. West Basin previously sponsored this event in fiscal year 23-24 for $715 and received an advertisement. I will note that West Basin also sponsored their annual toy drive in December in fiscal year 25-26. Documents for this request are included in attachment B, beginning on packet page 484. Funds for the sponsorship of and participation in community outreach events are included in proposed fiscal year 26-27 community outreach budget in the amount of $75,000. Approving the sponsorships presented today totaling $3,000 would leave a remaining balance of $72,000 as shown in attachment C on packet page 490. And with that, I'll read the recommendations. Number one, Director Gray recommends that the board approve sponsorship of Hope Academy's Swing and Sway Golf Tournament and Celebration of Black Music event on Monday, July 6, 2026 for $1,000. And number two, Director Gray recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the 10th Council Scholarship Awards Luncheon on Saturday, July 11, 2026 for $2,000. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Comment.
Go ahead.
Thank you, staff, for presenting this to the board today. I just want to make the comment that do believe that our community outreach events is very important. It's a value to the district because educating, I think we can do this through these events in terms of educating our communities about water. And especially as we continue to have water conservation as a goal in this region, getting the word out about how important it is to conserve water and how important water is.
Are you making the motion? Is motion been made? No, it has. Is a motion been made to pass this item?
Motion.
A second? No. Desi, you seconded it? Okay, other discussion. All right, call roll, please.
Before we do, I just wanted to make a note. With the failure of the budget, it is important to note that this would be funding a program within the next fiscal year. We can still do that, obviously, but it's important to note we don't have a budget for these funds.
But you can still be acted on it.
Correct. I just want to make note.
Whenever the budget gets adopted, it gets adopted.
That's correct.
Very good. Good points, gentlemen. Call roll.
Director Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Fabai,
Aye.
Director Desi Alvarez,
Yeah.
President Don Deere.
Yes, and the motion passes. So that was D, wasn't it?
That's correct.
Now we're on, item 8E.
Yes, President Deere. This item was heard by the Public Information and Education Committee and is related to our district event planning of 2026 water harvest. Michael Calabria, our Public Information Specialist, did provide a presentation and an overview of the upcoming water harvest. And there was one item that staff was seeking feedback for. You can see here that the recommendation is that staff is seeking input from the Board of Directors for date selections, considering the availability of the event production services and potential conflicts with other fall harvest events in the community. You can see there before you that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential Saturdays in the month of October. However, on October 3rd, there is a conflict with an event there in El Segundo. It's the Mattel's Hot Wheels Legends Tour. There's October 10th that is available. And there is October 24th. Just based off of our previous practices, it seems to us that in order to maximize attendance and participation, the October 10th of 2026 is the best date available, though we would like feedback and action from the Board of Directors.
Desi?
I would request that you hold it on October 24th. October 10th is the day before my birthday, and I will not be around.
And here down here.
I just said that that's my birthday weekend, and I will not be around.
That's a statewide holiday, I believe.
That's why it was a year, huh?
Okay, anything else? The motion's been made for October 24th, is that correct? Desi?
I will make the motion.
Is there a second to that? I'll second that on that day too. Also, the kids have all prepared for the Halloween, for the costume parade, all that good stuff. It's closer to the Halloween date. Okay, anything else? Okay, please call the roll.
And the motion on the table is that they set, or we set, West Basin sets the 2026 water harvest event on a schedule for October 24th, 2026. That's what I heard the motion to be.
That's what it was.
Director Gloria Gray,
Yes.
Director Tommy Fabai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
Yes.
President Don Deere.
Yes. And the motion passes that our water harvest for this year will be October 24th. Okay, information calendar, is anything on it that we should be aware of?
There are no items on the information calendar.
Okay, we'll go on to item 10, then you file some.
Move to receive and file.
All three? Is it three or don't have more?
There are additional.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. Want to go through any one of this particular? So you want to, you're moving
I'm
to
moving
approve.
to receive and file
Item
items
10,
10A
that's the
through
title.
10M.
To the end, right? That's what you said? Okay, any other discussion? First of all, is there a second? I'll second the motion for discussion.
What's the motion?
The motion been made to approve the,
Second.
See the file calendar in its entirety.
Second.
Here,
Okay, second, Gray then. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
it, can we pull, K, the workforce development programs update? Like to hear.
So we can pull K as a separate item. So the motion was made to approve all items except K. Yeah. Please call roll on that motion.
Director Gloria Gray,
Yes.
Director Tommy Favai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
Yes.
President Don Deere.
Yes. That item passes, and I will go on to item K. Worse. Development program updates. Who's gonna give that?
Yes, and for this presentation, we do have our Manager of Communications, Daryl Ramos Young, for the presentation. This item begins on packet page 737.
Great, thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, directors. This is a rather lengthy report at the Public Information and Education Committee. It did take about half an hour, so I'll try to sum it up in a little briefer time. So Desiree, if you could advance to the PowerPoint presentation, please. This is an overview of all of the 17 workforce development programs that West Basin is involved with as actual projects or on the committees that we are actively engaged in. Because there are so many programs that we're involved with, I figured the best way to break this down would be by the partner agencies that we're involved with for these programs. So MWD programs I'll cover first. Then the next 3 programs I'll cover are partnerships with WRD. Then I'll cover the programs in which West Basin has initiated by ourselves as an agency. And I'll 2 last programs that are sort of miscellaneous other organizations that we're involved with. So for the MW Workforce Development Programs, this first one is the Carson High School After School Program. It is basically a result of the MOU initiated by MWD because they were really trying to encourage Carson community understanding and support for the Pure Water Southern California project. So in partnership in this MOU is MWD, LA County Sanitation Districts, West Basin, and the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, along with the city of Carson. And the objective for this MOU is to bring broad awareness of careers within the water industry, the awareness for young people in high school especially to develop their understanding of the potential career pathways, whether through the trade skills or into the administrative project management professions, and just bring this information to the communities of Carson. This after-school program was initiated back on April 6th. The students meet 1 day a week on Monday for an hour and 15 minutes and are immersed in the career education and technical curriculum that is actually online available through Eastern Municipal Water District's website. Pretty turnkey curricula. The students understand and are introduced to the urban water cycle, all the different career possibilities within the water industry. And the last session is taking place tomorrow, where they actually take a field trip to Pure Water Southern California to the Napolitano Innovation Center, where Pure Water, the demonstration site for Southern California, is taking place. Once they complete this program, they have the option to submit an application to be selected for the next program on the next slide. The next program is the Summer Career Exploration Internship Program. Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts has the staffing availability and finances to hire one of these graduating students from this after-school program that's 18 years or older to be brought on as a water treatment operator / student worker. Person will be interviewed. The selected candidate will receive an hourly wage, and they can work during the summer as a part-time employee for the Los Angeles County Sanitation District. West Basin, in partnership with MWD, will also interview interested 18-year-olds or older, and each agency, West Basin and Metropolitan Water District will be able to select one qualified candidate to participate in a 2-week summer career exploration program. These 2 interns will be introduced to a variety of positions and water treatment facilities that are run and operated by MWD. And when they are not traveling to and fro the different water treatment sites and the water quality labs, for example, they'll be here being introduced to the professionals at West Basin. And we'll take one day to go over to the East Little, and we'll see if Jacobs has some time to introduce their staff to these 2 young candidates to give them the introduction to the private side of the water industry. This is a 2-week program, and the students will receive a stipend at the end of the 2 weeks, and that is funded by the South Bay Work Enforcement Board. MWD is providing the 1 staff person that will provide supervision for these 2 interns during the whole 2-week program. West Basin is partnering with the program itself, recruiting our professionals to help with job shadow opportunities. And we'll be providing 3 cubicle spaces for these 3 individuals, the 2 interns and the MWD program lead when they are here. One of the outcomes is that during their 2-week exploration, they will be developing a capstone project. And that capstone project is currently being envisioned as a social media campaign, since these young folk have just graduated from high school and they're going through these job shadow experiences and visiting all these different water treatment sites. Maybe they can capture some images, come up with some messaging to encourage their colleagues, young people, to be inspired and become interested in water careers. And if their project is something that we can use, a good deliverable that we can actually post, even better. It'll be your young voices talking to their young people, the young people. Okay, the next slide.
I have a question,
Yes.
Darren. So after the 2 weeks or 3 weeks as an intern, what is the outcome after that? Are they given any opportunity to go and work full-time with a employer, whether it's the private sector or West Basin or MWD? What happens after?
Unfortunately, there is no additional support from West Basin or MWD after this 2-week summer exploration program. They go off and pursue their own interests during the summer.
Okay, so they go off on their own, but they're not given like a direct entry to come into a real job or real.
No, but not directly, but through this whole program, they're going to be introduced to the professionals, associations they can be involved with. They'll walk away with all the resources that they need to pursue their own career pathways. So it's going to be.
And that's where, yeah, and I understand, Darren, that's where I have some heartburn with, with these type of programs. Because if there is no direct entry into a real career, then it doesn't really help the student. All it gives is incentive for them for the 2-3 weeks. And then after that, they drop off. But it doesn't really give them like skin in the game to say, hey, I want to get into a career. Are you going to give me opportunity for direct entry into your employer or whoever it is, right? So that's where I think where we can come in and make a difference at, right? And I think, and like I mentioned to you at the PI committee, that I want to include the Apprenticeship Readiness Fund program and the LAOC Building Trades Council, because I think we bring some, more resources to help with the programs. I'm not saying it's not good to have it, but I think to connect the dots with the interns or the applicant that wants to come into a real career, right? So I think it's something where we can work closely on that. I'll give EJ the contacts for the apprenticeship readiness fund program. And then EJ, you have Ernesto Madrano's number. But the thing is that there's affiliates, 14 union affiliates that make up for all of uh, the different workforce that's out there, right? Whether it's a water operator, a water engineer, or a water electrician, there's 14 affiliate unions that can help with resources towards this. However, we craft a program or something, I think the real impact is direct entry. And soon I'm gonna bring a presentation about a step program what the IBW NICA is doing. And I think, if other agencies, whether it's water agencies or other agencies can see this and see what the worth is, and then they're gonna buy into it. It's just having the will to do it. And I think, moving forward with something like that, and we can get together and talk more about it. But I think we're not doing any justice for a lot of these younger folks that want to come in. Yes, we're giving them incentive, but that doesn't help them for their career. And really, we're not helping them to come into a career because they drop off after 2-3 weeks. And that's the heartburn that I have about this. And I mentioned it to General Manager Savaji about, I didn't mention too much about this program, but, I'm really passionate about the workforce development aspect of this. And I think if we have the right resources to include in these type of program, I think we can make a difference out there. So just food for thought, Daryl. I know it's
Definitely not food for thought, but the appreciate is that feedback is definitely appreciated. And that you echo the direction that we definitely need to go in. And it is a pilot program for high school students. And this is only the second time that West Basin actually offered a high school program. But you are definitely talking about the missing piece is connecting the trades that can actually provide that direct opportunity for employment afterwards.
I'm gonna,
Oh, go ahead.
if you're done. Director Fevey actually brings up good points. This is at a high school level where you're trying to figure out what to do with your life. And so it's very important exposure to have the ability to see different types of careers and so on. And there are multiple careers in the water industry, and we're going to need a lot of people coming into the water industry because there's a lot of changeover, and it's a place of hire. I think that part of this program is to make available to the students the wider range of things, because you can go to school and become a water engineer. You can go to school, there are several colleges, Mount SAC and others that offer certificate programs at a community college level for operators. You're getting your ability to come in and work for an agency as that operator of a distribution system or treatment operator. And there's multiple areas within the construction industry that people can avail themselves. And a lot of high school kids don't understand that there are apprenticeship programs that the unions have, that there are college tracks that they can follow, either getting an engineering degree or getting a certificate as an operator. So hopefully that will be part of this program to give them those options as they move forward, but that they have those options.
Director Provide, the only thing I was going to mention is I'm happy to work with you. I think that the passion that you have and the ideas that you have are things that what we've been doing, we're trying to incorporate these things too. When you talk about a direct pathway into career and positions, this is kind of the dangerous space that we play in, where West Basin as a wholesaler, we have a small but mighty team, and we don't have kind of those direct opportunities within our four walls. So we need to find those partnerships that can offer that, because what we're trying to do is encourage people to jump into this space, but yet we don't have those specific opportunities to get them engaged. And so I definitely would love to work with you. I know our board has a specific passion for this, and I'll tell you, Daryl and his team have been working to develop kind of a roundtable discussion that we're looking at holding at the Edward C. Little Water Recycling Facility, where we can bring in some of our educators, some of our industry experts, some of the private and public sector, to really understand all of the hurdles that we're facing, because we're all doing a lot of great work. But like what you said, is it translating to that specific opportunity for that specific individual? And we recognize that we're coming up against some obstacles there. What we need to do is bring everybody together and talk about exactly what those obstacles are. And so I'll be working with you, and this will be a ongoing discussion that we have in our one-on-ones, so we can see exactly how you can help us and how we can get to achieve these things.
Thank you, EJ.
Chair. Can you hear me too? Thank you, Daryl, for the report this morning. I think this subject has been a subject of this board for a while. So thank you for your effort. And it's rewarding to hear the comments from the two directors, because I know that this board, as well as others, that we're committed to making sure that we do everything we can to expose our young people to career water. But I see three components, and I'm really pleased that Director Chavai brought this part up, because it's great to educate, because you are providing an incentive, as he said. But if you don't have anything afterwards, it falls off. And in order to really have that pipeline, you've got to have, after you educate them or get them incentivized to be interested, you've got to have training, because you can't get a job in the water industry unless you're completed a certificated program or you went through some type of training program. So I think that's missing, and maybe that's the link with the youth, right? And then you've got to have the agencies committed to those positions, that West Basin has in their budget, programs, positions where when those young people complete the training, they can go right into those positions. For example, MWD has a training program. When those folks complete their training, MWD chooses whatever the model is or whoever it is, they go directly into a position with MWD. I think that's the model. So you've got to have that commitment from these agencies that they want to hire these folks. Besides just knowing that's a great effort, but you get people interested, but you have nothing else. You have no training pipeline for them, and you have no commitment from the agency. So I think we need to look at the total package. But thank you for this effort. The other thing is that happy to hear that you have the classes in Carson, but you need to do it on the other side of, other part of our area. You have other areas that need this kind of education. And so I encourage you to look at the other areas and do the same thing, but look at the total package. So, but thank you for the efforts, and thank you for the other comments from the board members.
Yeah, and we are looking forward to developing this workforce development roundtable to bring together the superintendents of the different high school districts, the agencies that can provide the jobs, the employers, as well as the academia, the community college that could also provide additional support, as well as the community organizations. Again, these are all pilot programs. All the different agencies and partners have been working together for the past maybe 2 years, and we're beginning to see what's percolating to the top and being most successful. Just one item, I know you need to move on, but on packet page
Before you
757.
go on to that, I do want to say just one thing. Look at a pilot program at Inglewood High School. Look at a pilot program there whenever you're looking at the second pilot program, because the kids there need to know about what's happening.
Yeah. And again, it all depends on cultivating, and nurturing the right leadership too within the school district, so we can get that support.
It's
into
ready
the
for it.
campus. Right, that's great to hear.
Ready.
On packet page 757, I just want to provide this as an example of a program that seems to be taking really good root. They finished, this is a Long Beach City Community College working closely with the City of Long Beach Utilities. And they had 25 young people go through their 3-month program, getting paid to be trained to learn about and walk away with forklift driving skills, CPR certification, OSHA certifications, and they had completed 36 hours to be ready to take on the state exam for water treatment or water distribution, which apparently several of their graduates did take and pass their exam. So they can work as water treatment operators. But all the rest of them were brought on by Long Beach Utilities as non-skilled labor positions. And if they want to pursue working their career paths up through the utilities, they could. So that's an example and model of what you're talking about, Director Vai, is these young people were paid to actually go through this training and ended up with jobs at the very end. And then they could continue moving up the pipeline with Long Beach Utilities. So I think that's one example of these programs. That's one of the stellar models. So we're learning from them, and we'll see if we can partner in partnerships here in our service area to move in that direction. So with that, if you have any further questions or more feedback, love to hear it.
Is there any? Apparently not. Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Darryl.
Report. So where are we on our agenda here?
That concludes item 10 and brings us to item 11, General Manager's Activities Report. And I would just want to report that you should have a written hard copy of the General Manager's Report there before you. This has also been emailed to the Board of Directors for your review. I wanted to highlight just a couple of items to just recognize some of the efforts that have gone on this month. On May 12th, West Basin staff, our Manager of Water Policy and Resource Development, and myself met with the City of Redondo Beach. And while the meeting with the City of Redondo Beach was an excellent meeting, I just wanted to highlight that concludes our effort. We've gone back and met with each of our individual cities, so all 17 municipalities, and talked to them specifically about the non-functional turf issue, any programs and projects that they need. We talked to them about our budget process and how we develop programs that meet the needs of our cities and communities, and really asked for their feedback for programs that we could develop in future years that would help them achieve their water use demand issues. And so the feedback that we received has been great. We're in the process now of developing kind of some ideas and concepts for potential grants. And so we'll be pursuing those. But I wanted to highlight it because having the chance to meet with all 17 of our cities to talk about specific issues like this was great. Secondly, I did have an opportunity to meet along with our Assistant General Manager, Erica Owens, with the LA County Sanitation District's executive leadership, including Robert Ferrante, Martha Tremblay, and Ray Tremblay, to talk about Pure Water Southern California, the overall effort by Metropolitan Water District, and the potential for the use of recycled water in our service area. I mentioned earlier that on May 13th, West Basin did hold a budget workshop with and for our retail agencies as well as our refinery customers. Again, those that were not able to attend, we did reach out to them individually to talk a little bit about the proposed budget and where we are. And then last but not least, I really wanted to highlight on May 18th, LA County Public Works hosted, along with Supervisor Horvath, the LA County Water Summit update. It was their third annual one. I wanted to give a great deal of credit to Mark Pistrella, the Public Works Director there for LA County. I thought that the presentations that they had in relation to the water related programs and projects in LA County, the presentations were great. The opportunity to network with other agencies at that level was, in my opinion, kind of was up there as far as the most productive type of conference, one-day conference that I've been a part of. And I would tell you that I left kind of rejuvenated with so many of the programs and projects that West Basin does and how they fit squarely within that LA County water plan and how we can begin to promote and really work with the county to promote and get funding for our programs and projects. Because it really is, when you look at the totality of everything that's going on in LA County, it's a pretty awesome responsibility, but it's also impressive to see all of the programs that are being implemented throughout the county. So I want to give Mark Pistrella a great deal of credit for that. He, as well as Supervisor Horvath, the event was great. And I know that I got a lot out of it. I think most people that attended did as well. So with that, Mr. President, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions regarding the report? Very good. Thank you for that information. Good. I think the home read is just lengthy report. I haven't had time to read it yet. Okay, I think that concludes. Oh, do we have closed session today?
We do.
National Council report. This item 13 is next. We do have a closed session at 15.
I'll misplace that page of my agenda, so we'll go on and oh, good, okay. So we have a general council reports coming up.
Nothing in open session.
Okay, and the AB 1, 2, 3, 4 reporting compliance reports to be given today. Allow. There are none. Director's comments regarding agenda items. Before we go on to the closed session, which there are 3 items on the agenda on the closed session. So we're now adjourned to a closed session.
I'll report that there's no action taken during closed session.
There's no further business before this board. We are adjourned.